I've only been a fan of two teams really my whole life. Well, three: Indianapolis Colts, Indiana Pacers, and the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm about to explain how I became a fan of those teams, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about the current Kentucky Wildcats basketball team, football team, and I'll touch a little bit on the NFL and the Colts, but just a little bit. But this is going to be Kentucky talk today. So seat your seatbelts on.
I'm from the country. We put hot sauce on a pork chop sandwich. The blood said he getting shit in from Cali, so he paying shipping and handling. I talked to some people that told me you probably could blow. You just need a little management. Why I don't give a fuck about the industry. I find a plug and get rich off of cannabis.
So the Kentucky Wildcats lost in pretty large fashion to the Vanderbilt Commodores yesterday. Last night, should I say. And you know, I listen to a ton of talk about Kentucky all the time, you know, podcasters who talk about Kentucky. I won't name any names, but they're all very, very low on the Kentucky Wildcats. We just went on a 5-game winning streak. Well, five, I think, game winning streak. And we lost last night to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a good basketball team, really good. But they had lost a couple in a row, and then they won one. Lost one, so they had kind of been going back and forth a little bit, and everyone's pretty low on this Kentucky team. Well, we got 3 starters out. That's one problem, but even on top of that, you know, and 2 of them aren't coming back, so you know, we don't have our starting lineup in it, and that's a problem. Everyone loves to talk about how Kentucky spent all this money on this roster for it to not pay off. Well, we didn't spend all this money on this roster for them to all get injured either. You know, there's no way that we have known that everyone gets injured. And for what it's worth, the last few games have been really good. We've rallied back in the second half to really, like, you know, Takeaway has been playing as good as basketball as a Takeaway can possibly play, averaging 20 or so a game in the last 6 whatever game, you know, in the last 6 games I think it was. He even scored 20 in this one. But I don't think that that Kentucky is a bad basketball team. Like a lot of these, I mean, you'll hear these guys, they get on there, you know, Kentucky is just a bad basketball team with a bad head coach. It's like, no, they're not. Bad is, and don't get me wrong, I've been a Kentucky fan my whole life, and I know the expectation, and the expectation is very obviously winning championships, just like we did in 2012. But here's the thing. Here's the deal. We got so used to winning. It's like this is the second year being the head coach. Last year we went to what? Everyone say it with me. The Sweet 16, which isn't great. Did we go to the? We might have even went to the 8. I'm not sure exactly, but I know we went to the Sweet 16. And the thing about it is like that's for your first year coach. Yes, given he got a lot of money. Yes, a lot of people contribute to Kentucky. But at the end of the day, especially Kentucky basketball, and we're going to talk about Kentucky football here in a second because I think it's going to change a little bit soon. But yes, people invest heavily in Kentucky basketball around Lexington and around Kentucky in general. But it's not like this team is bad. I mean, who is bad on the like Colin Chandler had a bad night last night. He did, and Colin doesn't string together a lot of good games. He's not the strongest player on Kentucky. But that, I mean, is he bad? Like, I'm not gonna say that. You don't know. He's injured. Jaden Quayton's injured. Trent Noah hit a couple threes, I think, last night. I mean, he's not good. I'm not gonna say that. Jasper Johnson, good. he has good games. Denzel Aberdeen had a good game last night. Mo Diabate has his moments. Cam Williams injured. Malachi Moreno, that dude has back and forth games. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, Brandon Garrison can't play dead. Now that's one guy that I don't understand why he's on the court most of the time when he is. But this team isn't bad like people think it is. It's that when you here's the thing, they lack effort is what they lack. They don't lack talent. I think that's what a lot of people are missing, and that's kind of my point here is people love to say that we don't have the talent. The talent is there. We lack effort. This team lacks effort. I don't know if that's because they just, I don't know what it is. Does Mark Pope not expect enough out of them? I don't know. I think he does. I feel like he does, but maybe these guys just don't like each other. That's kind of one vibe I get. We play Arkansas 6:30 on Saturday. You look at Arkansas, ranked number 20. Are they the best team in the country? No. But are they a beatable team? Sure. Will we beat them? I doubt it. Well, probably. Like, that's just who this team's identity is we don't have our starters. So with the people who can play, we play as, like, they just miss shot, like, this is going to sound so cliche, but if you watch the games, their shots just don't go in. They just don't. They just miss shots. Like, let's look at their field goal percentage last night. 19 for 59. 6 for 24 on three-pointers. 11 for 19 on free throws. They shot 59% free throws, while to Vanderbilt's 80. They shot 25% from three to Vanderbilt's 38. They shot 32% from the field to Vanderbilt's 40. They just miss shots. And here's what I'm talking about a little bit with the efforts. So total rebounds 33 for Kentucky and 41 for Vanderbilt. Assist 8 for Kentucky, 13 for Vanderbilt. These are effort stats. Blocks 8 and 9. I mean, we have big dudes. Steals, they had 9, we had 5. We had 14 turnovers to their 8. Those are all effort stats. But talent stats like points in the paint, we did fine, 24 to 28. Fouls were pretty even. I thought this game was officiated horribly. I thought the game, they didn't call anything. I thought there was multiple times they could have called stuff. I could get into multiple instances, but I will not. This coffee got me turning a little fast. But for the past few games, Kentucky has been able to pull together in the second half. And if I'm being honest with you, when I was watching this game, I was thinking to myself, okay, I think they'll come back in the second half, and they might even lose, but they'll put together a fight, and they didn't do that. And that did kind of worry me a little bit, if I'm being honest. So let's look back on the last few games before the Vanderbilt game. So, beat Ole Miss by 9. We beat Texas by 5. We beat Tennessee by 2. Beat LSU by 1 point, and we beat Mississippi State by, quick math tells me 26. Right before that, we lost to Missouri and Alabama. So all those really games were kind of rallies in the second half, and that's kind of halfway what I was expecting. If you see my breath a little bit, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little cold in here. That's why I got this hoodie on. So anyway, I'm not going to say that this team's going to win a championship. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying this team lacks effort. That's what this team lacks. Talent is not it. Like, the ball does not go in the hoop. And when it starts not going in the hoop, you watched this last night if you watched this game. When the ball doesn't go in the hoop to start, it doesn't go in at all. Like, once they start missing, they don't stop missing, and it is crazy. It's a crazy thing to even watch, to be honest with you. And here's the thing: is Owe, was SEC preseason player of the year or whatever. Owe has been, and let's just look at his last let's look at his last 3 games, including this one. Go to a little. OA scored 23 in the win against Ole Miss. Versus Vanderbilt last night, he scored 20, had 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Versus Texas, he had 18 points with 3 rebounds and no assists. Oh, I thought I said 1. Versus Mississippi State, he scored 22. Malachi Moreno scored 17 in that game. So, and he gets steals. He puts effort in. I don't think that Otega Owe is the problem. And I hear people say that Otega Owe isn't living up to his expectations. Maybe at the beginning of the season you had a case, but for the last 10 games, I would disagree. I think he's one of the only bright spots on this team consistently. Other people can have. Here's the thing. Malachi Moreno can have great games. Can have games when he really looks good, but we can't string them together and have enough effort put forth with everyone putting effort forth all at the same time to string together any wins, other than these last 5. And when we go against a real opponent like Vanderbilt, like Arkansas, is when we show our true colors with the effort. So, I'm gonna watch on Saturday. Don't not get me wrong, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun, because if they come out against Arkansas and win, my faith will go up, because Arkansas is a real opponent, and you got to be able to build culture. You got to be able to build the winning thing. Like when you go out and you beat these last few teams that they beat, they're not amazing basketball teams. When we go up against any team with like about maybe half of a pulse, like any team, I'm not even gonna say that. It's a little rude. What I'm gonna say is this: when we go against a team who puts together like Vanderbilt wanted to win so bad last night, it just didn't seem like Kentucky wanted to win. And like Vanderbilt, when we go against a team who wants to win that bad, they win. Like we give up the effort. I don't understand it. I don't know how it gets caused. I really don't know. But it's something I'm not a huge fan of. And I think it's not Kentucky basketball either. However, I don't think this means that like the season is lost or anything like that. So let's just go over the last few years here. So last year we lost in the SEC tournament, or the NCAA tournament, the semifinal. We went 24-12 last year. That was Mark. But before that, we went 23-10 with John Calipari. We lost in the first round. Then the year before that, it was 22-12, lost in the second round. John Calipari before that lost in the first round again, 26-8. Before the season before that, we went 9-16. Season before that, we went 25-6. Didn't make the tournament either year of that. But before that, went 30-7. Lost in the Final Four. Went 26-11. Lost in the semifinal. Oh, lost in the Final Four again. Top rank for that year was number 1. That was in 2014. 2012, we won the NCAA tournament. We won the Final Four. And years before that, with all this success, Kentucky fans' expectations super high. But going to I believe it was the Elite Eight. I've got to look this up. Yes, we did go to the Sweet 16. We lost to Tennessee. I just remembered. First time we had been in 5 years. So, a year where we're losing a few games isn't the end of the world like everyone seems to think it is. And it's not something we can't turn around, to be honest with you. So, my question is, why are you giving up on this team? You see the writing in the sand, or see the writing in the on the wall, or whatever it's called. You see it, like, I don't like if this, especially if Jaden Clayton gets healthy. I know his knee has been swelling. If he plays, his team is different when he plays. So I wouldn't say give up on this team. Let's talk a little bit about Kentucky football, however. We obviously got Will Stein, and we know he's bringing in a bunch of people, which is good. And we know we got Kenny McKay, is that how you say his name, from Notre Dame. He's going to be the QB1. Who's he going to throw the ball to, though? Who's going to be wide receiver 1? It looks like it's between 3 different people. Kenny Darby, a freshman, a returning sophomore, DJ Miller, and a transfer, Nick Anderson. Kenny, excuse me, let me back up here. Yeah, can he develop enough chemistry with this new wide receiver room fast enough to execute Will Stein's offense the way he likes for it to be run? The timing has to be there, and it will be a tight squeeze. You have to learn Will Stein's offense. He runs a pro-style offense out of Oregon. Every time David still coffee, I'm a little mustache here fall down. Okay, gotta keep fixing it. Anyway, it all comes down to how fast can this offense be installed. Kentucky fans have been used to like the old style offense of running the football a whole bunch, and the new system relies on quick reads, spacing, rhythm, things that often look messy in the first few weeks of practice. So you've got to get this going. You got to get this pro style offense really learned, because it's not so simple like everyone might think. Like running the football a whole bunch, we can all do that. Like that's easy. But this is more complex, crossers and all these movie in motion and all this stuff. This takes a little time for everyone to learn. So and I think other than the QB and the wide receiver, the biggest question is who's going to step up on defense. Under Jay Bateman, this defense is going to look a lot different. That isn't making me upset. The pressure is really going to get to be more present, and the Cats need someone to step up to get the quarterback. This spring is huge for the next wave of pass rushers. We need to see who emerges as a game wrecker up front. If the pass rusher doesn't take a step forward, then it's going to be a long losing season. Spring practice usually starts in the second week of March with a spring game in April, so we will see then. I'm excited for Kentucky football, more than excited I've almost ever been in my whole life. With Will Stein, it's going to be fun because we've had kind of the same coaches for a long time, same coach for a very long time. It's not been the greatest. So we can talk a little bit about the Colts now. So in this hiring cycle that's been going on recently, all these great coaches that are out, and we didn't fire our coach, we kept him. These people get rid of their GMs, excuse me, after a little success. Like the Broncos fired their offensive coordinator, they just went to the AFC Championship. So my question is, why there's no changes? There's not going to be any changes. And if next year we don't go to the playoffs, or we don't at least win a playoff game, there are no changes. There is no reason to keep believing in this team at that point. There is no reason until they get rid of Chris Ballard and maybe even Shane Steichen. At this point, there's no reason to believe. I've been having a lot of conversations with my friends about, the Colts and stuff. And the thing about the Colts is we don't change. We'd stay the same all the time, and it's like, I don't know how you expect doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is complete insanity, and that's how you become insane. And so I don't know what Carly Hersey Gordon was really thinking. I think the only way for her or the whole organization to prove any of us fans wrong were to be for them to come out and win. And if they don't, they need to blow this thing up. They need to blow it up. No more Chris Ballard, no more any. Just get rid of everybody and get new people in there, because they're clearly needed. This team is not good, and if we don't blow up the defensive room, like, we don't have anybody get to the quarterback. We have who gets to the quarterback? Latu, a little bit, yeah, sure, but DeForest Buckner, he does some a little bit, but we need an elite pass rusher, and that's what Chris Ballard said. Oh, we got to get younger on defense. Well, we really actually have to, and not just say that. Zaire Franklin, we all love you, buddy, as a person, but it's time for you to step up or get out, and it's been time for that like 2 years now, man. Anyone else no one else is on the defense is safe. If your name's not Sauce Gardner, you shouldn't be safe because they couldn't win games last season against opponents that were good without Daniel Jones. But like the defense, 2 or 3 of those games that we lost near the end of the season, even with Phillip Rivers behind the helm, we will win without our defense being as bad as it was. And is it Rumo's fault? I don't necessarily think so. It's about execution of his defense. It's like there was a couple times the scheme wasn't my favorite. You know, you're playing a really good quarterback, and I think you're trying to disguise a little bit too much. But other than that, I don't think it was bad. I mean, he's getting head coaching jobs for a reason, or head coaching looks for a reason. But I think you have to get people to execute the style that you want, and if you don't have that, Jermaine Pratt was great. You know, Kenny Moore is really good. He gets beat sometimes, like everyone else does. But like Blackman, not good. Jonathan Edwards needs to get out of there. Mitchell needs to get out. Like these they can be backups, but they cannot be starters. Like I think we do okay at the back half of the roster situation, but these guys are starting a lot, and I know it's due to injury. But if your drop off from starter to backup is down here, you're going to lose games a lot. And it's going to be because of your defense, and that's the exact scenario that we found ourselves in end of the season. So, like, the Colts need to make some major changes, and they need to make them quick. They're probably going to sign Daniel Jones. I don't necessarily think it's the best idea off and Achilles. At least let him sit for a little bit. Will he let him sit? I hope so, but I really doubt it. So, we'll see how Daniel Jones looks. Hopefully he looks good. And we'll see what kind of changes to make on defense, because they're going to have to. Are they going to sign Alec Pierce? You have to sign Alec Pierce. Are you going to trade away Pittman for some picks? I doubt it. They're probably going to sign Pitt. But I think trade him a little bit is not a bad idea. We'll see about all that, in the upcoming future. And I'll talk to you about it then. Don't worry. Podcasts may be a little bit less than I used to upload them, but you can check me out on TikTok. I'm on there all the time at JD's Takes, JD_S Takes, JD's Takes. I appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you. Have a great day.